Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. Chris Holman here, coming to you from the island today. This is the annual policy conference put on by the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce. And everybody who is anybody is here, and my next guest is going to bear that out, as a matter of fact. David Lewis, president of AT&T. How you doing, bud?
I'm well, sir. Good to be with you again. How are you?
Now, how many times have you been up to this?
This is my fourth time.
Fourth time,
Absolutely.
Okay. So you're still kind of finding
my way. I kind of know where the corners are, right? Know where the place to be is, and I'm getting to know more people. So this is such a great conference in so many ways.
You can't put this together anywhere else. You know, and the fact that you now are every 10 feet running into somebody you know who has an issue you want to talk about.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So one of the biggest issues, speaking of those, for business in the state of Michigan is talent. I mean, it's number one for the last 3.5 years. How's AT&T doing with that?
Well, we're facing the same problems that everyone else is, and that's trying to get the right talent, right? We have signing bonuses for those that want to come in for premises technician positions. We've got just under 4,200 employees throughout the state of Michigan, but we've got demand, right? From a broadband build perspective, a fiber build perspective, it's all over, and we could use talent, right? So what we try to do, like everyone else, we hit the job fairs, we go online, we tweet it out, and we try to make sure that people understand that AT&T is a place, and not only you can come in and work, but you can retire here, right? It's a great company, family environment, but it's tough. Yeah. Like everyone else, getting the right talent to come in, have the interests, and stick to it, it's tough.
So give me a little bit of your background.
Yeah, so president of AT&T Michigan, been with the company for 14 years.
Oh.
Prior to that, I worked at JP Chase as a middle market banker. But before then, because I'm from Indiana originally, I was clerk of the Supreme Court for the state of Indiana. So I was an elected official for the state. And then prior to that, I worked for U.S. Senator Evan Bayh as a regional director, and then I worked for a couple of governors before then. So as I tell people, I started when I was 5 working for state, right?
Well, yeah. you do look pretty young, so you must stay fit or something that's going on there. Okay, besides that challenge, what else is in the way? I mean, we're doing this fight of getting broadband to everybody and getting cable everywhere, because there's a lot of people still left out.
That's exactly right. You've got your unserved areas throughout the state of Michigan, in the areas like we have before us right now. I mean, Mackinac Island is taken care of by us and other providers, but broadband is the word of the day when we talk about connectivity, right? With all of the federal allotment and subsidy that's coming in from D.C., counties and municipalities have resources now that they've never had, and we may never see in our lifetime. Yeah. So what we want to make sure is, from a priority perspective, when we're talking about broadband, we're talking about connecting areas that have not been connected. We're talking about increasing 25.3 FCC speeds to 120 at new FCC speeds. We want to make sure that we're at the table with counties and municipalities and having discussions on how you build the network that's going to last for years and years for areas that have not seen that before. You're looking at areas that are just starving for internet connectivity. They're starving for wireline protection and connectivity and wireless, and the resources are here. But we want to be at the table so that counties and municipalities don't feel they have to do it themselves.
You know, it's interesting because I always look at the number of areas that their businesses are kind of out of connect, not having that access. You're talking about things like health-wise.
Exactly
I mean,
right.
People who can't get on and get telehealth. You know,
right? We talk about it. It's called the speed of treatment. If you're in areas where you want to be able to check your blood pressure, you want to make sure you get the diagnosis from your doctor after a visit on a Tuesday. You want to know what the results are on a Thursday. All that has to do with connectivity. You want to be able to look at your device. Smartwatches right now check your heart rate to make sure that it goes right to your primary care physician. All of that is on the network, and we've got to make sure, from a microsite perspective, small cell perspective, that we're connecting counties, we're connecting hospitals, schools, businesses to areas and to homes, so that everybody can continue to do what they do best, and that's live, work, raise their families.
All right, now I don't want to hear about flying saucers, but I do want to hear about what's in the future, right?
Absolutely.
So tell me, because you sit in on a lot of these technology and the new things that are coming. Is everything going to be on our wrist someday?
It's on our wrists right now.
Well, pretty close.
The only thing constant in our business is change.
Yeah.
So every time, what I say to a Monday is obsolete on a Friday because there's new technologies all the time. But we're talking about the telemedicine piece. That's very key that you brought that up, because that is the future. When we talk about, again, the speed of treatment, making sure that we can connect primary care physicians, hospitals, doctors, EMT to that. FirstNet, our first priority preemption, giving first responders the connectivity they need to connect with one another. Making sure that with a hospital needs to communicate with a police department or a fire department needs to communicate with EMT, that they have that FirstNet connectivity. So we're reaching out to sheriffs, police departments, fire stations, and all that to let them know that the FirstNet, which is a deal that we won with the federal government, understands that we are working with the federal government to make sure that every state, not just Michigan, has that connectivity that they need.
So let's talk about the roads a little bit. I don't know how much you guys come into play, but when the autonomous vehicle comes along and finally is out there, infrastructure is going to be one of the things.
That's exactly right. It's about seamless connectivity. We call it overlay. When you're leaving one area, like you say, like a more aggregate area, such as like a Detroit, such as like a Lansing in Ann Arbor, a Traverse City or what have you, you want to make sure that if you're looking at autonomous communications and mobility, that there is a connectivity from a small cell perspective. So, you know, when you're looking at a macro site, when you have a city that's more aggregate as far as people and buildings, you don't have that seamless connectivity. So we're putting small cell technologies on light poles. We're putting up our own poles that make sure that when you leave one area, you're connected to the other. When you're going on the roads, infrastructure, making sure that our macro sites are equipped to have a wider range so that when cars are going from one direction to the other, that there's no breakdown in that connectivity and that communication.
David, you need to get more enthused about what you do.
I'm telling you.
All right?
And this is an early morning. Wait till I get a cup of coffee in me.
David Lewis, president of AT&T, and we are coming to you, the Michigan Business Beat, on the Michigan Business Network, from the Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island for the Policy Conference put on by the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce. I'm Chris Holman. We'll be back with more.